Hey, we are here tonight with Mike Fury from Spirit Adrift, Will to Live. He played in MOD and In Disgust, and I don't know, you've got some other bands in there, I'm sure.
There's a few others.
Yeah. Mike, I'm gonna start out by saying thanks, man. I greatly appreciate you coming and hanging out like I was just saying. For me, it's always cool as a fan of music and musicians to sit here and have the opportunity to chat with you and just go on. And I'm actually admiring the crowbar poster that you have hanging up behind your shoulder. I think that's cool. And I dig the sick of it all. And I'm just realizing it's Kiss behind your head too.
Yeah, the old school,
Yeah,
old school shot right there.
right on.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna jump to the beginning. I did the same thing with Mike DeLeon. What got you into playing music?
Oh man, dude, I just, dude, I pretty much was raised with with my dad. Yeah, first and foremost, he was just a fan. He didn't play any music. His actually dream was to just to see a big rock and roll concert here in the States. That was his dream, growing up, and he did. So like, he was I think his first concert here in the States was Rod Stewart, actually, right?
Right
And
on.
so so he just a fan of rock, right? And man, I remember just being little, and he was always jamming rock, always. And he had all the old school, VHSs of all the bands, live concerts and everything. And I would just be I would sit there and watch them all with him, and then on my own, and like for example, or for instance, we're talking like Ozzy's The Ultimate Ozzy,
Oh
right?
yeah.
There's a Priest live, Iron Maiden live after death, Led Zeppelin, the song remains the same. Man, there's I can go on and on. And he would have also 6-hour VHS tapes recorded of nothing but MTV,
Oh
back when
yeah.
he showed music videos,
Yeah.
right? It's like it'd be like VHS tapes full of videos, Headbangers Ball, all of that. And man, and he started taking me to concerts at a very young age. Like I was 3 years old when he started taking me to concerts.
Shit.
The funny thing is, like I brought it up, actually not too long ago to him, and he was like, the only reason why we took you is because we didn't have a babysitter. Hey, well, you know what though, hey man, it was part of my growing love for it,
Yeah.
and I was like, like one day I want to do that, I want to do what those guys are doing up on stage. So yeah, that's how I got into it, just get into it at a very young age.
Has it always been drums or have you played other instruments also?
I mean, I try to, mess around with guitar, and I was like, yeah, I think, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna stick with drums. I feel like, I had more, like well, because growing up, we didn't have big enough space for a drum set.
Right.
We lived in a small mobile home, and but once we moved into an actual house, we had plenty of space. Like I took advantage of getting a drum set, so I was 14, 15. So yeah, so we're talking wow, we're talking 24 years ago, right?
Wow.
And in the year 2000, yeah, I saved up enough money from already working at one of my first jobs, and yeah, just got a drum set from the drummer from the church band that was selling the drum set. And I'm like, yes, something
Yeah.
cheap going, right? And yeah, and it's just went on from there, man. It just started banging away.
That's cool. That's really cool. So 24 years, essentially played, I'll say, on more stages than most, most musicians, like larger stages. You've done, oh God, you've toured the world. You've played with uh, MOD, obviously, Spirit Adrift. I think you guys are getting ready to go back on tour, right?
Um, so yeah, it hasn't been officially announced, so but but yeah, I'm sure it'll come up soon, or maybe it has already. So we were gonna go out to Europe for the first week of April, to do a run with the band called Green Lung out of the UK.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, I think just right now, I think it's not the best time. We got some personal things going on within the band. And so I think it's just, best, just hold off, and then, just make sure of everything's okay. And so yeah, as of right now, Spirit Drift doesn't really have any plans right now
Okay.
uh to do anything for the rest of the year, as the way it's looking. But it's cool, like it gets, it gives me a chance to stay busy with the other bands, and and possibly, some future dates with MOD later on. Who knows? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like, so we'll see. But
Well, let me say, I hope everything's okay within the band and everything works out,
yeah, for sure. Thank you. Yeah,
right?
no, yeah, everything's all right. Yeah, I just needed to just take time off to make sure, everything is good at home with with the guys in the band. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, for
Cool.
sure.
Well, you just did a run with, was it Madball with Will to
Yeah,
Live?
yeah, man. That was, man, that was amazing, man. And yeah, we did San Antonio, Lubbock, Dallas, Houston, and Austin. And I have to say, it was some of the best Texas shows that I've played in a while, and it was the first time Will to Live has done anything like that in a long time, so it was real cool that we got the offer to do that with Manball, being one of our favorites, within the band, I mean,
Yeah.
so that was a real treat, and very, very grateful that happened for us,
Yeah,
so
that looked like it was a super fun run.
yeah, man, yeah, man. San Antonio was packed. Lubbock was actually good, man. Dallas was sold out. Houston was packed. Um, Austin was still cool. It was just, I think that was probably like uh the one with the less turnout out of all, because it was bad weather that day, and there was other shows going on. You know what I mean? So it's like, that kind of like. But either way, man, we still made the best of it, and it was, man, it was a great run after, at the end of it.
Yeah, and Madball always seemed to put on a really good show. They're pretty consistent with how they perform.
Oh man, dude, hey, their band is sounding tight, man. They've man, and then Freddie's just an amazing frontman, man.
Oh yeah.
Like, and for his age, man, still, jumping up and down, hip banging, like, just all running all over the stage, man. Like, that's like, I mean, for doing that for an hour on stage, man, yeah, you
Oh
got to
yeah.
stay in shape, and he's on it, man. And dude, like, the rest of the band, though, is just killing it. They're just very tight sounding, so
Yeah.
it was.
Well, there's a reason they've been around as long as they have. It's obviously, I don't think Hoya's in the band anymore. I think he's off doing something else, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, no, dude. Yeah, they have um Brennan playing bass for them right now, and he's been involved with the band, though, for several years. And like, I actually met him with my other band, Die Young. We did an East Coast run with Matt Ball, like in 2016, 2017, and then so yeah, he was with them then, just helping out, teching, roading, and The super cool guy, man. Like, I actually love that guy, man. He's very very cool, and yeah, you got Mike Justin on drums and Mike Gennari on guitar, dude. Like they're incredible players, man. All
Yeah,
of them, all of them give it all.
for sure. That's, and it's great to hear that you guys had a really good run with them. Um, how do you feel that the crowd reacted to Will to Live?
Man, it was a great response, man. Every night, every man, and well, like I told you, it was I mean, it's been a while since Will was done anything like this, So we were like kind of like, man, how is Lubbock going to be? We haven't. I mean, I don't think I've ever played Lubbock, with Will to Live since I joined the band, and I joined the band in 2005,
Oh wow.
so I was like, man, I was only 19 when I joined the band, and at that time, and 18 or 19, something like that, and but yeah, they man, it was every like I said, I feel like we got a great response. You know, I mean, I'll say Will to Live, was the band for me that I saw, like, man, like this, they have a staple, like like they're at the time when I was getting into all this, they're the Texas hardcore band, so even then, a lot of people looked at Will to Live as Texas hardcore legends or whatever, whatever you want to say, and man, it was cool to hear that, still after all these years, doing it, and also I feel like it was a personal goal too, because we've played with Madball, shared the stage with them many times over the years, but never like a direct support slot, like
Yeah.
this was like really like something special to all of us. It's like, yeah, it was a real it was a real treat to the band for sure.
Right on. Kind of the stuff that dreams are made of,
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know I always like seeing bands get to like crest their like dreams, making them come to fruition. And I say bands, but just people in general, because like, what's life without dreams, right? It's just,
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man, I tell you what, like just um it's since I mean, for me personally, since I was little, that was my dream, like, to hopefully one day that I'll get to be on a big stage, and dude, hey man, like, hey, I worked my ass off, man. I was at it, since I started, playing in bands, just hey, networking, going to all the shows, and traveling, like, wherever, uh, so yeah, man, I really yeah, it's something I really worked for, and so yeah, it's very very grateful, man. It's just putting my mind to it, having that drive, having that heart for it, so man, and yeah, just got to keep on grinding, don't
hell
stop.
yeah. Well, and you're really a great drummer too. To watch you play is like, dude, you can see the excitement every night on your face, just like, man, this is fucking awesome. I'm like, you
Yeah,
know,
man. I mean, if you love something, if you love what you do, like, why look like you're having a horrible time, right?
yeah. Well, that's the truth.
Like, man, and man, I mean, I think playing music, it should be something. It should be fun first and foremost. It should be fun. Especially with the people you're jamming with. And then yeah, like that's you know, I don't know. I've always been, just to have a good time, man. Instead of looking all mean and tough up there.
Yeah. Well, mean and tough has its place too, you
Yeah, yeah,
know,
for sure. Yeah, I totally get
you know,
that.
but it's great. It's great from a fan's perspective to watch you play. What you guys came through with Spirit Adrift, and it was like, I don't know, I just think that whole night was fantastic. Was that COC?
Yeah, right. That was COC and the Native Howl.
Yeah. Who
Yeah,
just
it
did
was
a
it,
run with Zach, right?
yeah, yeah, it was I caught you at the Louisville show, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah. They just did a run with Zach Sabbath and since you brought that up, yeah, when the start date for the Madball Will to Live exit strategy run was that was in San Antonio, and that was the same night as Zach
Oh,
Sabbath and Native Howl. Yeah.
damn.
I know, man. It was only like an 8-minute drive from the Aztec Theater to Paper Tiger, but I was like, nah, I don't want to. Yeah, I was like, nah, I don't want to chance it, man, just in case if I'm needed, at the venue. I was like, yeah, it's probably. So, but yeah, I thought that was cool though.
Yeah. Well, kind of
Yeah.
cool. Like it kind of sucks. You're like, oh, you guys are pulling our crowd. Come on. But it's good. Like those guys are doing a lot too. They're like, Native Howl out there just hustling constantly. Go, go, go.
Man, they're at it. Yeah, I saw that they got that clutch tour too, man.
Yeah.
Like yeah, good for those dudes, man. Very happy for them. Fucking dude, we ended up clicking, man. When we did that run with them, dude. All very nice guys, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
uh, um, yeah, just very fun to be around, man. And yeah, we always had a good time hanging out with them, man. So all the best for those guys for sure.
Hell yeah. So what other bands do you have going on?
Okay, yeah. So we mentioned Spirit Adrift, right? MOD.
Mhm.
Um, we just talked about Will to Live. Um, and then I mentioned Die Young, right?
Yeah.
So Die Young actually is I feel like it's another staple in the Texas hardcore scene. Man, that was the first band that gave me the chance to see the rest of the world. Because Daniel, the main guy in Die Young, he also plays a second guitar in Will to Live too, right? But he man, he before I started being active with Die Young, man, I saw that, man. Die Young was going out to Asia, uh, Europe. They were seeing the world, and I was like, wow, that's amazing, right? Like that. I would like to do that one day, right? And then just getting cool, with Daniel, since I joined Die Young, I mean, Will to Live, right? We'd always play shows here and there, and uh and then I remember telling Daniel, like, hey, and dude, if you ever need me for any little thing, right? And the offer was like the first offer came up was like, hey, we're going to Europe. This was 2008, 2-month tour. Are you available? And I was like, oh my god, crap, like, and so like, here we go. Here's a true test,
Yeah.
with my job, right? Let me see if I'll be okay with it, right? Like, let's see how this goes, right? Got to take 2 months off of work, and then yeah, and their work was totally cool with it, and man, that was yeah, that was awesome. Unbelievable, man. I still think about that tour all the time, and yeah, so there's Die Young. So yeah, they've been around since I'd say '02, '03, and so yeah, so that's still going on. We're actually writing some new music right now for
Right on.
for a new EP, and and then In Disgust, like that's my baby right there, man. That's my band that I started with with the guys here in New Braunfels, where I live. Um, I started jamming with Zach, the guitarist, in like 2000. Man, well, we started jamming just covers. Once I got my first drum set, I started jamming with a whole bunch of friends. Like, come on, come over. My dad works nights, y'all.
Let's
Let's
do
go,
this.
let's do this. Jamming. He was one of the guys, man. That we would come out and jam, and we started the band in '02, and So yeah, and then we're still doing our thing, we're still playing shows, and writing too. Um, so there's that, and what else I got? I also got a project called True Intentions.
Hmm.
Um, that's with Rob from Will to Live, and with Johnny Ryu, who um, who was in Street Dogs, and then also Reese Williams. He played with Roger Murray from Agnostic Front when he had his band called the Disasters. Yeah, he played guitar for him and that, and so yeah, and that's like, dude, pretty much a mix of like New York style hardcore mixed with the with our Texas hardcore, like it's really cool, man. We got an album up on and all the streaming services, and then
I'll have to give that a listen.
what else, man? And I just started uh playing with the guys in a band called Flawless Victory. They've been around too since '02 and '03, based out of Laredo, Texas, but now the guys are like within the central Texas area, between San Antonio and Austin. And I've been at it with them for like since, I want to say, since like 2010. And yeah, we're starting to, we played our first show back in November. So that was our first show back in 8 years, and so yeah, man, it was a cool, it was a good show, and now we're writing new music too. And so it seemed like, uh people have been really excited about that we started jamming again. And oh man, what else? And I got also a working project with Nate from Spirit Adrift,
Okay.
and my boy Ronnie out of Dallas, who we used to jam with together in the band, years ago. And then my boy Champ Morgan on vocals. He used to sing for a grind band called Kill the Client back in the day. So yeah, he's out in the Austin area, and he's got a band now called Black Ops. Um, and I think he's got a new project, another project too, going on too. And then so yeah, that's been a working project for the past couple of years now. It's just it's hard because we're over here and Ronnie's out in Dallas, and so we it's very our time getting together is very, very limited. But yeah, hopefully we can get some recording done, because I feel like we got some awesome songs, man. And so yeah, hopefully we'll be seeing some music from that, this year. And
Right on.
yeah, I think that's about it, man. I mean, and I got a fun Misfits cover band that I do like once in a while, man, with some good friends, and the scene. So yeah, that's always a party. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man.
That's a
It's
that's that's a lot of bands with a lot of music you're working on right now. Like,
yeah, yeah. So, but hey, man, I love it, man. Let's try to, just try to balance it all. Like if
yeah,
one band's not active, go with the other. Just try to stay moving.
yeah. Well, you got to, especially in like current times, because I feel like we went from this. we're, Everyone was taught probably 50s, 60s, you go, you work your 40 hours, you get your retirement, you get married, you have kids, your house, and da da da. And then,
Yeah.
right, as time goes on, like you get to us, and we were, you know, probably the first generation that parents both worked. So we were left to our own devices. Like, what do you do? I want to play music. Awesome. Let's go drink. Let's smoke weed. Let's, you know, let's let's have a party at someone's house because their parents are at work. And, you know, that
Yep.
that was my house, like parents work second shift. Everyone get out of school, come on over.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know. I told my dad, like, years later, like, hey, dad, like, sorry, like I brought everybody to the house, but like, hey, like, with me doing that's what helped my startup, for to get moving, and
Kept me
so
out of trouble. Kept me out from running the streets doing all the stupid shit.
Hey, you know what, man? I say that too, man. Definitely, staying busy with music, man. Hey, probably if I didn't have music in my life, probably could have gone down a different road. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like it's with every kid, right? Growing up, you're gonna get exposed to some of the negativity out there, and it's, just depends if you pick it up as a habit or not. You know what I mean? And I was, I feel like I was real, I learned very early, like, I was disciplined, too, man, like, hey, like, to to stay away from all that, and so yeah, so music was definitely a big, um a big help in keeping me away from any of that.
Hell
So
yeah. Well,
yeah,
that I think part of that goes back to the parenting too, right? Like you had those people who were like, "Hey, listen, right? You're gonna do stupid shit. It's okay. This is the right path,
yeah, yep,
whatever that is."
yeah, yeah, no, yeah, for sure, dude. And I think, my dad too, man. He was always like, I mean, he was always listening to bands, that had a good message too, like his, like one of his favorite bands is Triumph, and dude, and they had, like, man, I feel like, man, that's like, to me at least, that's positivity all around, man. You got
Yeah.
songs like, they got songs like Fight the Good Fight and Hold On, and you know what I mean? And it's like, man, it's like some really inspiring stuff, man. And Van Halen too, but like, like all of that stuff, man. That was it was all very uplifting for, for me, growing up, so yeah, so yeah, there's definitely all that, that, I mean, like, hey, like, this is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good you had that there, right? Like for me, like growing up, we had my dad was big like country music guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, I get it, right? Like our babysitter was well, I guess one of the first babysitters that I remember was my introduction into Metallica.
Mm,
There was another dude. Let's see, I gotta think timeline. So my dad worked at Chevy and he also did like leather work on the side. Well, there was this metalhead that I'm going to use this term and I don't mean it derogatorily. He was kind of he was I was almost going to say retarded, but he wasn't retarded. He was kind of handicapped, you know what I mean?
okay,
And the story that I'm told is he was hit by a semi.
okay.
Um, so he was handicapped and so his speech was slurred and super nice guy. I mean, super nice to me. Because my dad made him leather. Like he'd made these leather forearm bands that were all spikes, and I was like, man, that's so cool. And he's like, listen to Slayer, listen to Iron Maiden, and I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, dude, yeah, it was early '80s, and so he was my introduction into metal. But we had a babysitter who was a drunk that introduced me to Metallica. I think it was the Master of Puppets album.
Yep.
And I was like,
Yeah, man. Oh, for sure. Um I remember being little too, man, going through all my dad's records. And hey, those are one of the records that stuck out. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like, what is this? He had Master Puppets Injustice on record, and I was,
yeah,
oh, like, what is this? This is a little faster. This is a little heavier than all the other stuff, you got in here, So hey, that was also too my introduction to speed and thrash metal, like from that. So
yeah, and there's such a great introduction because you go from like Kill 'Em All, that's like right in your face, fast, thrashy, just real Dave Mustaine, right?
yeah.
Because it literally is, and then you move into Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, which are hugely, hugely influenced by Cliff Burton,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
You
Oh,
know, so
yeah.
all of it is just like that whole early era Metallica. I don't think for me there's another band that has been as instrumental in like heavy metal as a whole that has been around that long. Well, I would say Slayer, but Slayer's not with us anymore,
Yeah.
Damn
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's crazy to think too. Like if you really want to think about it, uh how Metallica, they were in their 20s when they wrote Master of Puppets, and it's like to this day like one of the greatest metal albums of all time. You
Yeah.
know, it's like so we try to, it's like damn, like what are we doing? Like what were we doing in our 20s?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
writing one of the best masterpieces ever.
Yeah. I mean, those riffs they're timeless. Same thing with like Black Sabbath. You look back, like, holy shit, Snowblind or Fairies Wear Boots or whatever. Like those riffs play and you're like, that's Black Sabbath for sure. And I love it every time,
Yep.
you
Oh yeah.
know?
Yeah, there's some stuff you just don't get tired of, man.
Right.
There's yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely it, man. Yeah.
I've
Uh,
actually got a band that I think you'll really like. It's from Cincinnati, North Kentucky area,
okay.
called Blessed Black.
Blessed Black. Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of a doom stoner. It's just a real, real good to me, it's just real good rock and roll, man.
Yeah. Cool.
Uh
Cool. Yeah, man. I definitely have to give him a listen. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
The dude, the Murphy, who is the front man, dude, killer pipes. Seasons Volume 1. That's what I'm gonna tell you to check out. Like,
Okay. Cool. Cool. All
just
right, man. Hell
damn,
yeah.
just damn good. All right. So out of all your years of touring, all the places you've been, bands you've toured with, what are a couple of your favorite like tour memories, right? Like this show really stuck out for whatever reason or
Oh man. Um wow. Well, I'll mention a few if we have time for
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Like man, that mean like personal to me, right? So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, oh man, wow. I mentioned earlier, going to Europe for my first time with Die Young, right? And I haven't really said this, out to anybody really. But man, I do remember this. So on during that Europe tour, uh, we happened to had three shows in Russia at that time, and a buddy I knew was out in the embassy out there in Moscow, right? He was all, I remember this was during the MySpace days, right? So I remember he
Yeah.
messaged me on MySpace, like, hey, like, Mike, we're coming out to your show, man. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have somebody from my hometown in Moscow watch me play, right? Here he shows up with a Pantera shirt on,
Hell
like
yeah.
whatever, this is cool, right? Like he came with a buddy too that he was out there with, man, so and at the time, I remember I didn't um I shut my phone off over there, because I didn't want to worry about, any kind of like charges, international, charges, right? With the
Right.
cell phone, right? And I remember, and by the way, that show in Moscow for Die Young, that was like, I think that was sold out too. That it was packed, it was probably one of the best shows of that whole tour, right? And these kids were like crazy, man. They were jumping off the top, man, and singing along. I'm like, wow, little did I know that that Die Young has a fan base out here in Moscow, right? Well,
Right.
pretty much to Europe, like I was kind of taken by it, like how how well received, like, with the reaction, like how we got, from everywhere we're going. But anyway, back to the show. So I'm there like hanging out with with my buddy Alex, who came out to the show, and him and his guy were, they had a driver, right? They're like, Mike, hey man, before we go, is there anything you need, man? Anything at all? Is there anything that we can get you? Like they're just very like, they're just wanted me to help, with anything, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, I was like, you know what? My first thing I thought was, y'all have a phone? Can I call my dad real quick? And they were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. They were like, here we go. Like, and I remember like calling my dad, and he was at work at the time. And man, it was like one of those like proud moments right there. I could hear it in my dad's voice when I call him, like, hey, Dad, I'm here in Moscow. We just played a full house, so it was great. And I can tell, like, man, he was really excited to hear and proud to hear that, man. So that stuck out. That stuck out to me, and I was that was really cool. That my buddy Alex and this guy helped me out, to do that. And so there's that, right? And then
That's
and then
really
when
fucking awesome that you could share that with your dad, right? From the other side of the
oh
world.
yeah, yeah, for sure, and oh, that was, I mean, he's the guy that got me into all of it, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so yeah, I remember that was a special moment right there. And then and okay, there was this other band out of California called Through His Defiance. And they hit me about helping them out for a tour in Europe and South Africa too. And I was like, whoa, I was like, oh, that could be cool. I've never,
Yeah.
like, I was like, when am I going to go to South Africa again? Right. I mean, who knows? I mean, I never. So yeah, that was really exciting. I got to do that. And I think that was in 2010, 2011 when we did that. And wow, that was an experience I'll never forget either. Just seeing, just doing that. And so there's that. And then 2014, right, is when MOD got to go to. We went to Europe twice that year, right? We went to Europe the whole month of February that year, and then we went back for the festivals in the summer. And Hellfest was one of them. And me and Mike, me and Mike DeLeon, we've been busting our asses, man, ever since we started our thing with our bands. Ever since I got everything started with In Disgust, and everything he got started with Disfigured, and and it lined up for us to be an MOD together. And here we are playing main stage, Hellfest. Here we are, and we're getting ready. Like, yeah. So while we're getting ready, like we're looking out there, and Powerman 5000 is going on, like before us, on the other on main stage two. And me and Mike, man, literally, like our nerves are running. As we're like, dude, let's go back to the dressing room quick to take a hit, like, man, like let's go, let's just calm down. Like,
Yeah.
no, hell no, nothing could calm the nerves down. Nothing, dude. There's nothing, man. We were just like, man, we're just too amped up. Like, this is it, like, man. And so listen to this. So we're getting ready to go on, and here comes this lady, right, coming up to us, and she's like, hey guys, just so you know, we're gonna broadcast it live, and so she walks away, and Billy's like, don't fuck up. You hear me? So we're like, yeah, okay, cool. No pressure, right?
Right.
No pressure at all, right? And oh man, so we get up there, and here we are going into Aren't You Hungry, right? The first part of the song. And then so we did just a little intro of it, right? And then we stop, and then we hear something, and they're like, okay, guys, now y'all can start. Now we're gonna broadcast it live. So we had to play the intro of Aren't You Hungry again. So hey, but you know what? At the end of it, we were all like, hey, that was a very MOD thing, to do.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
hey, but then
like,
hey, yeah, so once that happened, man, hey, we're on, let's go. And yeah, dude, that was amazing, man. And I actually had one of my childhood friends out there in the crowd. You know, he was right there up in the front. I'm like, God, look at this too. You know, another hometown buddy, front row in France. You know, like here witnessing playing the big stage. You know, and dude, that was the same day as Slayer, Sepultura, Death Angel, Iron Maiden. You know, and I was like, oh, this is like, hey,
You're
that
like in
was
heaven.
that was a dream come true, man.
Yeah.
And very, dude, very grateful, man. I remember telling Billy too, you know, when we got off that stage, I was like, man, I was like, Bill, thank you for making one of my dreams come true, you know. And you know, even though we didn't, you know, Black Sabbath was on that weekend too, even though we didn't play the same day, but still knowing that I'm playing the festival, you know, like sharing
Yeah.
it, you know, so that was like, oh man, look at that, man. Just incredible, right? And then last summer, Spirit Adrift got invited to go play Download in the UK, same day as Metallica, right there, like ult- ultimate dream come true, right
Hell
there.
yeah.
Being like, you know, man, it's just so amazing, man. You know, like once we got done playing, you know, like which by the way, we had a full house on on the stage that we play at. Man, it was awesome, man. Full house. And right when we were done playing, here's Disturbed going on the main stage right across from us, you know, like over the hill, you know,
Yeah.
uh like it was so wild, you know. And and then Metallica went on after, you know. And then uh it was that's it, man. You know, like come on, man. That to me like that's the ultimate, you know,
Yeah.
like that thing to know that, you know, you got that I had that opportunity, man, you know, to do that. And then, you know, going and telling Nate too, like, man, dude, wow, you know, like just very blessed and fortunate to do that, man. And and dude, that's everything like you're for, you know what? Okay, so hold on. So Rob Machete, right? You know, the other day, you know, the bassist in MOD, right? I was talking to Rob Machete the other day, and you know, he was like, you know, Mike, say this was all a dream that you're doing. You know, say like you're really just, you know, you're just working some, you know, some job, you know, and you know, you know, you're doing all this, but then you wake up and you know, and then they're like, and you realize that was a dream. God, you would be pissed, right? Knowing that was a dream, what you just did, you know. And I was like, man, I guess I will be. I don't know. I was like, dude, and he was like, well, Mike, you're living your dream, man. I'm like, wow, you know, like I never look in that perspective, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, and wow, man. But yeah, I just, man, like those are the memories, man. That the big show memories that stick out, you know, for sure. I don't know. There's a few others too, like also too, real quick, man. With Indiscussed, we had a chance to open for Unearthed and Bleeding Through over last summer, and man, like when Indiscussed started, metalcore was very was yeah, I feel like metalcore was at the peak, man. You know, like 2003, like all like, you know, 2002, 2003, like all that time, man. Like Bleeding Through Unearthed, those are like, you know, two of the bands, man, out of that whole genre, man, that we started listening to, and you know, and getting inspired, man, for our style, our direction, you know, where we're gonna go. And um so, man, dude, so it was like, yeah, and here's Unearth celebrating 25 years, and here's Bleeding Through celebrating 20 years of their second release, you know. And here we are celebrating 20 years as a band, you know, like as
Yeah.
here to say, you know, it was so that was a real that show meant a lot too, man. And that was another like packed house, man, you know, here in San Antonio, man. So that another great show right there in the books for sure.
Hell yeah. Well, you know, you've got all that, and then you've got this kick-ass wife that supports you, and you know,
Man,
all those things.
man, you do, dude. My wife is the best friend, man. Dude, she's my best friend. Do my soulmate. She's got my full support, man, and it helps that she loves the music
Yeah.
too. All right, man. That's a big help, man. But you know, like she man, she's been seeing me do it for a long time. You know, like we met early on, in the scene, and just being real good friends, and she would always come out, she would always support, and always remain good friends. And then and now it's crazy to think here we are married, and so yeah, I couldn't do especially right now, I couldn't do all what I do, without her support, man. So yeah, definitely, you know. And so for anybody watching this, you guys, balance is key.
Yeah.
Balance is key, like, you know,
Yeah.
so
So I say I feel the same about my wife, right? Like I don't want to say she lets me do what I want to do, right? But she kind of does. I get a wild hair at my ass. Like Battlecross did a weekend with the convalescents. It was 3 or 4 days. It was 3 days.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was like, so I'm gonna go. And she was like, to like 1 or 2. I was like, I'm gonna do the whole weekend. She said, okay, have fun. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is
Right.
why we got married. I love
Yeah.
you. And then when I was like, hey, I think I want to do, podcast focused on music. She's like, I think you'd be great at it because, you obviously you have this huge passion for music and you know a lot of people. And I was like, yeah, I kind of do. Like I do know a lot of people or have, some sort of contact with them. And it's, so far it's worked out pretty good. I get to have really kick-ass conversations with guys like you.
Oh yeah, man. Very cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, dude, the support from the wife always helps, man, and so yeah, so I try to balance everything out. Like, oh, I'm gonna go spend some time with me, with music, with the guys, go play some shows here and there, as long as I, come back home, put things on hold for a little bit to make time with her,
Yeah.
always, man. I try to balance it out, man. So yeah, I think I think she thinks that I do a good job,
Yeah.
balancing. I mean, I would hope.
Yeah. I mean, she's still with you, so you got
Yeah,
that going
right.
for you.
Yeah.
The important stuff.
Yeah.
So, all the bands that you've seen play or played alongside, right? Like at festivals or wherever, is there a band that sticks out that you were like, I wasn't expecting them to be good and I didn't really listen to them before, but man, like after seeing them, I'm just a huge fan of them now.
Yeah. Man, I would have to say, I feel like, what, I feel like there's a lot of bands, I'll have talks with, with guys throughout the years, and that will come up, like, just about certain bands, like, I didn't really think much of them, listening to them, but then when you go see a band live, it changes, it changes everything,
Yeah.
right? And oh man, you got me right there, so now I'm trying to like pinpoint, some bands, that really stuck out over the years, that let me see, let me think. I just had a talk about this the other day. um
Well, you think about that. I'll tell you about my most recent experience.
okay, okay.
It was Gideon. I
Oh
had I'd never really listened to them much and I've heard great things about their live show, so they were playing Louder Than Life and I said, "Oh, they're at Louder Than Life. We're here. I'm gonna go see them. Like I have to see them." And
yeah,
we went and I was expecting like just an okay set to walk away going, "Yeah, that was all right." But man, I walked away going, "Holy shit, those guys were freaking good."
yeah, yeah,
Like,
hell yeah.
4 months later, I'm still talking about it. That was such a killer live show.
Cool. All right, hell yeah, man. I'll keep that in mind, man. Gideon, right? Okay.
Yeah,
uh,
they're out of
I-
Texas.
yeah. Oh, right on, right on. Okay, now that you mentioned your band, I'll say this. Here we go. So so I have friends, who are fans of the Doom. of the stoner rock, the sludge, right? And that stuff. And so this was, I think, the year 2015, 2016. So I remember hearing about the band Yob from friends, right? Like, and like, and they're like, Mike, you need to give him a listen, man. You need to give him a shout, like, or you need to check him out. I'm like, all right, cool. I remember what I've heard, like, I guess I don't know if it was for at the time if it was too slow for my liking, or like that, so like, I didn't know what to think. So Phil, right? Phil and Selma was doing his housecore horror fest, right?
Mhm.
And he did it. He had it in San Antonio, I think, in 2015, 2016, one of those years. They had it in San Antonio, and
Was that with Guar and Melvins?
that was with I think Suffocation played it, COC played it. Who else played it? Man, I have I have the poster somewhere, man. I think Goblin played it too. I'm sure I Hate God played it. Super Joint. That's when Phil was doing Super Joint.
Yep.
Pretty active at that time, right? Um, so I got to attend one of the days, and and Yob is about to go on, and I'm like, all right, here we go. I'll finally, I finally get my chance to check the band out. And dude, they blew me away. I,
Right
I,
on.
yeah, I was there like, holy shit, like their sound, and yeah, the way they performed, the way they looked on stage, I'm like, okay, this, and they're making it look like, like not the way I was listening to it. That's for sure. They're like, they're blowing me away right now, and then uh Spirit of Drift got to tour with Yob in Europe a couple of years ago, and actually, I think probably may have been one of the first tours to happen after COVID, and so getting to see y'all play every night too on that, oh man, dude, just wow, amazing, man. But I remember like watching them at Housecore, I was blown away. Not what I expected, So I was really taken by them.
They're a good live band too.
Yeah, yeah,
We ju-
very.
they just came through. I gotta think. They came through in June. It was like one night Pallbearer played, a couple days later Yob played,
Yep.
a couple days later Spotlights played, and then like all of those bands alone are really fucking good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They all played one night together in North Carolina, and I was like, oh man, trying to like, I'm like, I gotta get me a ticket, go fly out to North Carolina. I gotta go see this
yeah.
show.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
Uh, that's cool. So, what do you like playing more? Do you like playing more of the hardcore stuff, or do you like more of the metally, like metalcore, or are you more into the jammy, like stoner doom stuff?
And dude, Tom, I love it all, man. It's all, to me at the end of the day, it's all rock and roll, man.
Hell yeah.
I just really love playing. Like yeah, all the classic rock and the classic metal. Yeah, of course. That was all the stuff that I grew up on. And but man, like when I got my first drum set, man, I remember like, I mean, for any drummer, right? At in the year 2000, right? If you were getting into drums in the year of 2000, I guarantee you, every 14, 15-year old will tell you that Joey Jordison was an influence on him.
Yeah.
Was an inspiration on the drum, because yeah, man, dude, when I got my drum set, dude, I was trying to play like Joey. I was trying to play that whole first Slipknot album. I was trying to play the whole first Mudvayne album. Man, and I got really into Hatebreed, and I didn't know Hatebreed at that time was consider a hardcore band. I just thought they were a different, different kind of metal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And uh, so of course, like, but then it also too that goes back, like listening to bands like Vision of Disorder, Earth Crisis, Biohazard. Like I've already those bands, and but like I said, I didn't know that was considered hardcore. And
Yeah.
then I used to play that first Hatebreed album too, Satisfaction is
So
a
that,
Desire. I used to
yeah.
play that, like all the time, man. And uh so yeah, man, I that's what I started playing on my drums first. It was the fast stuff, right? uh, and so yeah, man, I and then that was Spirit Adrift. It kind of like, man, it kind of came full circle. And here I am playing music, with that's the music that I grew up on, man. And
Yeah.
and I love it, man. And I feel like too, playing with Spirit Adrift has definitely uh you know taught me a lot as far as keep it in time. I feel like, versus hardcore, like it's a lot of fast stuff, right? Yeah, there's a slow, heavy breakdowns too, but with Spirit Adrift, I feel like it taught me to pay attention even more, to my timing and tempos, and to feel it and to hear the music, like hear the vocals, just feel it all, man. Like wow, so yeah, there's definitely that too. Um, but yeah, like of course, playing like playing hardcore, man, that just it's almost like second nature for me. I love playing it. And then when in Disgust, we got um we started experimenting with the with more technical music. Like I remember too, like yeah, like I mentioned, we started out going that metalcore direction, but then we also like started, hey, well, let's try to mix in like a little bit of the grind, the technical stuff. So like we were listening to like Dillinger Escape Plan, Cephalic Carnage, the Red Chord, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so yeah, we started like, hey, let's see if we can try to write music like that. So man, that was always very challenging. So yeah, anything with the challenge too, man. I'm totally down for it too. Like
Like
so.
being in 5, 6 bands at the same time. Yeah, for sure. Like,
So yeah, so you know what though, that just makes like for me, like it gives it just expands my my playing abilities, able to
yeah.
play everything from the slow stuff to the fast stuff to the most technical stuff, you know what I mean, like all of it, man. So man, I just enjoy playing drums, man. I really love it, and one of those, I mean, it's something that I'm going to keep doing until the wheels fall off.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, good, dude. I'm glad to see it. Can't wait till you get out on the road and come through again somewhere in a radius that I can make it to. Come hang out, maybe drink a beer, watch you play. Because like I said before, I love watching you play. You're so fucking happy doing it, and I just like seeing people happy. Like shit.
Yeah. Hell, hey, dude, like I remember Howard Stern had Sammy on his show, man. He's had him on a few times, and I remember like Howard telling Sammy the same thing, like man, look at you, Sam, you're always in a good mood, man, whatever. And you're Sammy like, and I remember him saying, "What's there to be bummed out about?" I'm like, man, that's that always stuck out to me, man. Like it's like, yeah, like just always just try to have, just a good time, man, good, good energy, and especially when it comes to playing live, man. Hey, just you just have a good time and rock out.
Hell yeah. Hell
you know?
yeah. Well, Mike, we're coming to end. Again, I want to say thank you. I greatly appreciate you taking time out of your night to come hang out and talk with me. Tell your wife thanks for sharing you with me.
Definitely will, man.
You know,
Hell yeah, Tom. No, no, no. Thank you, man. Thank you for inviting me on. Thank you for even considering, wanting to talk to me. Man. No, it's cool, man. You know, I'm glad you asked, man. Thank you.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, Mike, go have a great night, and I guess I'll catch up with you soon. All right,
Yeah, man. We'll keep in touch for sure, man.
for sure. All right, later, dude.
All right, Tom. Later, man.